Welcome into the Early Edge presented by BetMGM. The Counselor of Cash will be back in this chair tomorrow. But right now, you got me taking you through a Tuesday show. Let's look at the recap screen. I know it wasn't good personally because of those Diamondbacks, and then I wake up to find out they win the game 9-8, but they didn't show up in the first five. Thank goodness for Matt Snyder saving us from an even bigger disaster. 2-4 is not going to cut it, but let's get to the stars of the show, guys, because we have a live play right off the bat. We're not going to waste any time with chit chat. We're going to just quickly say hi to Matt Snyder, Amags, and Buckets. We have a Spain-Egypt Olympic game soccer match going on. Buckets, how are you playing it live?
Larry, I'm looking at halftime right now, and I'm looking at Spain, who were the better side and the heavy favorites to win this match, being down 0-1 at halftime to Egypt. Spain have to get at least a draw if they want to top their group here, which means Spain, who did slightly rotate their squad, are going to put all their killers, and they're going to continue to dominate the second half. I'm playing Spain double chance right now live on the show at -125, which means if Spain win or if Spain draw this match, you end up cashing that ticket. I think Spain are going to score 2 in the second half here, but that double chance gives us a little bit of safety in case this ends 1-1 because Spain just need the draw here.
Awesome. This game's still at the break. You can get this play in. It is an official live play on the Olympics. I absolutely love it, Buckets. And we're going to come right back to you in a minute. But I got to ask the two baseball experts. And Matt, thank you for taking a moment because I know you're on TV basically all day today with the trade deadline. So far, based on what we've seen, Matt, which couple of teams have helped themselves the most?
It's been a lot of stuff on the margins, right? Like the Mariners definitely needed offensive help, and they added Randy Arozarena. It's not anything that's going to give them a huge push, but it's a little bit of a help. The Yankees, they needed to lengthen the lineup. They got Jazz Chisholm. He hit 2 bombs last night, although maybe only one should count because the second was off a position player. But that lengthens their lineup a little bit, so that's a help there. Like the Mets getting Jesse Winker, a nice on-base guy. It's been a bunch of stuff that's on the margins that I don't think should affect our futures markets at all. But it was also stuff that could impact down the road. I thought about the 2021 Braves after Ronald Acuna Jr. tore his ACL, and they went out and they just threw volume at it. They got Jock Peterson, Adam Duvall, Jorge Soler, Buckets' man Jorge Soler, and Eddie Rosario, and they got contributions from all of them, and the new Soler was the World Series MVP. So it's some of these moves, they're marginal right now, and I don't think they should change how we approach the futures market, but they could make an impact in October.
And Buckets, I just checked various books. You cannot bet Soler to go the yard yet. Today, we need to see if he's going to be in the lineup. Hey, Max, what about you? What's your reaction to what we've seen at the deadline so far, and which teams have helped themselves?
I think what we've seen is, I think, a little bit of frustration from some of these sides trying to come to terms on deals. And we even seen with like Garrett Crochet, who was one of the biggest names to kind of come up at the start of the trade talks. Now there's some rumblings that he wants an extension and he's not going to be traded. There's some really big pieces that haven't fell in Flaherty. You have Skubal. You have a bunch of like really big difference makers that have just not been moved yet. So that's kind of frustrating. But on the other side, I think maybe just one, I totally agree with Sniper with the two that he mentioned, Yankees, Mariners, definitely both those moves I think really helped their lineups. But maybe one here in the Astros, like they really needed a starting pitcher. They did go get Yusei Kikuchi. I don't love Kikuchi as a pitcher, but in the end, he is a major league pitcher, better than some of the guys that they had been mixing and matching and bringing up. So at least there is that for them.
Especially with Ronel Blanco falling off now in the last month or so. And he's overextended. They didn't think they were going to have to use him as a starter so much. So yeah, I agree with Amags. That's a good move as well.
Yeah, and Matt is going to be basically on CBS Sports HQ all day, along with all the other MLB analysts. So you've got to tune in there. And also 1 p.m. today, we will be on CBS Sports Network, The Early Edge, as a crew, breaking down MLB futures and a whole bunch of other stuff. More on that in a moment. But great to see everybody in the chat. Danny Brasco, Brandon Silva, Gus Dawson, Brian Cleefan, Liddy, Big Cheesy, noting we are Deion Sanders away from the NFL. But let's get into the official best bets while we sweat Spain in the second half. Let me know when that kicks off because I don't have it playing on my TV right now. Buckets, you've got 2 official plays today going later today.
I do, Larry. And the second half did just start. If you see my eyes kind of go like this every once in a while, I'm just checking to see if Spain equalized yet. But I've got two plays for the Champions League qualifiers here. And we're starting with the second leg between Turkish side Fenerbahce taking on Lugano. And we're going both teams to score here. When I sent this play to the crew last night, it was at minus 125. It's closer to minus 40 right now. And I still have absolutely no problem paying that juice. If you want to parlay it with over 2.5 to get to even money, you can do that. But frankly, BTTS shouldn't be playable at all here. The first leg of this matchup ended 4-3 with Fenerbahce winning, but we got 7 goals in that first leg, and we are disrespecting the Lugano side that was able to score 3 against Fenerbahce here. Fenerbahce are the heavy favorites. They should win this one, no problem here, but Lugano being down in aggregate are going to push for goals, and I think they get at least one, making that BTTS absolutely playable in that first matchup. Then for our second game, I'm looking at another Champions League match between Slovan Bratislava taking on Celje. I'm taking Slovan Bratislava over 1.5 team total in this matchup at minus 105. Again, a really soft line for how good this Bratislava side is. In the first leg, they scored in the 11th minute and looked like the better side until they got that red card 30 minutes in. And as we all know in football, when you get the red card, things just change. Now Slovan Bratislava gets to play at home, equal on goals, knowing they're going to have to probably get at least 2 here to beat a Celje side that seems to be able to score 1 against anyone. But I love Slovan Bratislava to get the job done and get 2 goals in this matchup.
Great job, Buckets. And I'm going to need you to repeat those names when we get to the recap screen. But first, we've got a couple plays from SportsLine itself on Olympic action going on during the day. We have 3-on-3 men's basketball, which at first I was not aware was an event in the Olympics, but it is. And the USA is taking on Serbia today. It's Jimmer Fredette for the U.S. leading the team. But Mike Tierney, a veteran guy, he's covered 7 Olympics or more. He's going with Serbia. He says lay the 1.5, or you can play it on the money line at minus 115. That's the first official play from the site. And then, of course, we're not going to go anti-USA with both our picks. We're going to be on the USA side. USA Soccer taking on Guinea. That game is at 1, and the basketball is 4:30 today. USA money line and under 4.5 against Guinea. 3-1, 3-0, 2-0. All of that comes in. Buckets, what do you think of Martin Green's play on the USA Soccer match?
I was going to say that sounds like a guru play because he loves his money line paired with a high scoring under in this matchup. I love it. I had USA winning this matchup 2-0 against Guinea, so as long as it doesn't get too crazy here, USA need the win, not the highest scoring side. Should be a fun one.
All right, let's do it. And where are you going to place all of these Olympic and soccer bets and MLB bets that we're giving out? New BetMGM customers, if you sign up today, you get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. You place your first wager of at least $10, and you will receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's EDGE. Guys, we have a ton of baseball plays coming right up as soon as we hear from one of our sponsors. I got to say, one of the best things that happened to SportsLine was Amags joining the team last year, and he's crushing it on the site. But if you follow him on Twitter, which I do, and he lists about 8 or 10 guys to go hit over 1.5 or 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, I've been tailing you, and it's been paying off very, very nicely. So you've got 2 official plays today for the show. Amags, let's hear them.
Well, I'd love to hear that you've been tailing me there, Larry. Thank you very much. And you're right. We have been pretty hot with those hitter props. So no reason to go away from them now. I actually already saw somebody mention our buddy Brent Rooker in the chat here. Every day, bet Brent Rooker for right now. He is trying as hard as he can to be traded. That's another name that has not been moved, but that's a big piece. But we do have 2 hitter props here. In the first one, we're going right back to where we were last night. Ketel Marte over 2.5 hit runs, RBIs here. We're getting it at plus money again, so totally fine to play it. And you got another lefty on the mound in Patrick Corbin. I'm not going to dive too deep into Corbin, but look, when you go on Baseball Savant, every player has a page. And if your stats look more like on the red side, that's really good. Well, Corbin is like the Coors poster child, because when the mountains are blue, that's best for us. And I mean, everything is really blue on this guy's profile. He has not been good on the expected side. Even if he looks good in some games, it's really not showing up in the expected stats. I think tonight against the guy in Ketel Marte that had 3 balls hit over 110 miles an hour against left-handed pitching last night, I think he does it again. And a little wrinkle there, he was 0 for 3 earlier this year against Corbin, 3 strikeouts. I think tonight he jumps on him early in one of those counts, does not let him get deeper in the count. So first or second pitch, look for him to do some damage. And then secondly, I put this one up on the SportsLine site. It seems like some of you already got it there. It's going to be Corey Seager over 1.5 total bases at -101, right around even money. Shop around. I'm sure maybe you could find even a little bit of a better price. But on this one, look, you're getting Lance Lynn, you're getting St. Louis, where it's getting to those mid 90s to low 90s temperatures in a game like this. I like the fastball against Seager matchup there. Corey Seager has been a guy that when you look at all the pitches that Lynn throws, he can hit all of them, but it's the fastball specifically. Lynn heavier on the fastball, almost about around 50% thrown. And Seager is up there with guys like Juan Soto and Aaron Judge for how hard he's hitting these fastballs this year, averaging hard hit at least 65% of the time, which is like 95 miles an hour more. So really, he's doing some damage on these fastballs, and even the secondary pitches for Lynn. Seager is right there. So at the top of the lineup, away team, I like to look for him to smack a fastball against Lance Lynn tonight.
Love it, Amags. And my play is very in sync with yours, because I took Gino Suarez over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Feels like a bunch of people are piling on Patrick Corbin today. He's 1-6 with the 5.52 ERA on the road. Suarez has gone over this in 6 of his last 8 games. His OPS for the full month of July is over 1,000. He's also 8 for 22 lifetime against Corbin, with a few walks, a homer, a double. So this sets up well. I hope they bat him a little bit higher in the lineup tonight, because as the home team. Oh, go ahead, Amags.
So with Christian Walker being injured now, I actually do think they'll move him up in the order. I think that you'll get that. So when I saw you put that play in, I was like, oh, I like that one too, because he should be bumped up in this order with Walker out.
Love it. I love that you can interrupt my pick and make the pick sound a little more intelligent. Thank you very much for that. But we're all in on this Diamondbacks team again to get to Patrick Corbin. That's my play, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Okay, guys, we have reached the point of the show where Matt Snyder, who went 2-0 yesterday and told us specifically, play the Guardians because Jack Flaherty probably will not be starting. Don't list the pitchers. We said play it action, and it cashed very easily. Matt, let's hear another 2-0 from you. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to stay in the same ballpark here as I did last night, because I'm going to keep fading the White Sox on the run line. Look, they're in autoplay territory at this point, playing against the White Sox on the run line. They have a 15-game losing streak, and 11 of those games come by multiple runs. So during the streak, we'd be 11-4 playing against the White Sox on the run line every single time. The Royals are now 10-1 against the White Sox this season. They had that late cash last night. I had actually admittedly given up on it and thought, all right, well, I guess I was bound to lose on it at some point. And then Maestro texted me and was like, holy cow, look at the turnaround in the Royals White Sox game. Bobby Witt Jr. coming through with a grand slam. Look, the White Sox are one of the worst teams in baseball history. They've got the Garrett Crochet distraction now. They might trade Luis Robert. Michael Wacha on the mound for the Royals, a 2.56 ERA in his last 11. He threw 7 scoreless against the White Sox last time he saw them, which was pretty recently. So this is a good spot again after just a deflating White Sox loss last night. I assume they come out flat today. Speaking of which, I'm going to go back out to Arizona and talk about Patrick Corbin Day. The Diamondbacks with that late comeback, the Corbin Carroll walk-off home run. Again, the Nats are probably deflated. The Diamondbacks are riding high right now. The Diamondbacks have actually won 11 of their last 15, but if you go further back, 17 of the last 25, one of the hottest teams in baseball. By the same token, the Nats, they've lost 5 of 7. They've lost 19 of 30. They're trading guys. They're probably going to keep trading guys. So I just really love the Diamondbacks in this matchup, even if it wasn't against Patrick Corbin. But Corbin with the 5.52 road ERA, like the Maestro mentioned earlier. Diamondbacks feast on lefties, 274 average is their 8th and weighted runs created plus against lefties. And Ryan Nelson on the hill, not very good numbers overall, but a 2.97 ERA in July. So he's going well right now. Most likely outcome here, the Diamondbacks with a comfortable win.
Let's go D-backs. Two things. Skipper's Pick says Danny Brasco should be the host of the show, and I actually agree. I think Danny would do an unbelievable job. That guy is so smooth on camera, basically, and in everything he does. We also have a couple of MLB questions in the chat. I've seen some chat about Bobby Witt Jr. Amags, how would you play him today, if anything?
So his hit run RBI had been like 2.5 and then like minus 120. Like he's been getting juice because he's been getting played. And I mean, look, for good measure last night, like he put up that grand slam. I think that if you want to play anything on Bobby Witt, you play the over. I wouldn't be playing any unders on him right now. Real quick, at least one thing I did want to mention. So this is only up on one book. I bet it a little while ago here. But it's on Bet Rivers, Canby, any of the books that are Canby associated. It's Jeffrey Springs today for the Rays. I'm sorry. Under 17.5 outs coming off of the IL, back off rehab starts, only around 80 pitches, 5 innings last time. I just think it's a tough spot to say that he's going to go over 17.5 outs and you're getting plus money to the under. So if you have access to that one, I didn't make it an official bet, but I do really like that under 17.5.
Two things from the chat. Cleveland fan wants to know, Matt, do the Guardians get caught sleeping today or do they dominate Detroit?
No, I looked at the money line on that game for a second too. I can't remember exactly why I moved on. I was trying to hurry because I was doing other videos. But I did glance at that and think, ooh, I might take the Guardians again. So yes, I think they're fine.
Okay, and Amags, we need a home run prop or two. I've been noticing that when I've been betting your hits, runs, and RBIs, I've been kicking myself because it seemed like 4 of those guys homer every day. So I should have played the home run prop as opposed to the hits, runs, and RBIs. But who do you like today to go deep?
Here's a name for you. Cal Raleigh in Boston there. Looks like good hitting weather, wind pushing out. You get James Paxton on the other side, who Raleigh is good against the lefties. Paxton lets the ball go up into the air too much. Raleigh puts the ball in the air a lot. I think today you see Kyle Raleigh hit a home run.
And buckets, I know you want Soler as soon as that's available in terms of home run props. Any update on our live bet that we're sweating right now?
Spain made a couple big subs right out of the half. They're dominating possession and already launching a couple of shots. No goal yet, but I think it's coming here soon, Larry.
Well, I sincerely hope so, and we will find out in a few minutes. But first, let's get to the recap screen, guys. I appreciate everyone tuning in. I have Gino Suarez over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Matt Snyder going back to the well, and why not? Royals on the run line, Diamondbacks on the run line, and Buckets. Why don't you give us your 2 plays?
Absolutely. This is what Sia should be doing. It's asking me for help when he needs it. I'm on Fenerbahce versus Lugano, both teams to score. Slovan Bratislava over 1.5 team total. And I think we all can do this last one, but Spain double chance there live at minus 125. That is now also, Larry, plus 115 if you're looking to jump on it now.
Nice. And the subtle shots fired at Sia. We'll see what he has to say about that tomorrow. Amags, Ketel Marte over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Corey Seager over 1.5 total bases from the SportsLine site. The first pick, 3-on-3 men's basketball. Serbia to beat the U.S. on the money line. That comes from veteran sports writer Mike Tierney. And then the men's soccer, USA to beat Guinea and under 4.5 goals in that one. And that's going to do it for our best bets. But don't forget, tune in to Early Edge today, 1 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. Breaking down MLB futures at the deadline, NFL futures, Olympic golf, and more picks for tonight's slate. Remember, the early edge is off. The early wedge is off this week. Back next week to get you set for the Wyndham Championship. It has been such a blast hosting this show. I cannot wait for tomorrow when the counselor is back, but I enjoyed myself. I hope everyone did too. And let's get a lot of green on that recap screen tomorrow. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.